So 10 things we learned from the Rugby World Cup round 3. Now the results are on the side there, and number 1 is there still are World Cup blowouts. Those big mismatches still do occur. They're not a thing of the past. France 96, Namibia 0, England 71, Chile 0, and the side that loses probably doesn't really learn that much. I mean, you could say it's where they need to get to. They can see firsthand where they need to get to, but I think they probably knew that anyway. And the side that wins might actually lose as well. France there, sure, they had some great tries, good for the fans, but Antoine Dupont, big injury, facial injury. Now, it was feared that he could be out of the whole World Cup, which would be a disaster. But luckily, due to the medical science, the advances in medical science, it looks like a plate's been put in his cheek already, and he's going to wear some sort of regulation mask, and he might even be able to play in the quarterfinals, because they will want him in the quarterfinals, because maybe they face, say, South Africa, and you don't want to face them without the best player in the world. Anyway, point 2, just going along with that, points difference doesn't probably matter as much as maybe we think. We get carried away with these big scores, but just a point to remember here, if teams are drawing in pool points, it goes to the head-to-head between those two teams, which is actually better. No, the better of the two teams should go through. Fairer, I think. Point 3 and 4 are tactical points. Point 3 is kicking is still vital. Now, South Africa-Ireland was a great game, could have gone either way, but you could argue that with a few more kicks, South Africa would have won the game. Libbok, we know he's not the greatest kicker. Faf de Klerk the same. You could say, oh, just put Pollard in and that'll solve everything, but one, Pollard does have a habit of missing streaks of penalties as well. Sometimes he can be right on it. And also, this team has been built around Libbok, especially the attack. So if you throw him out, do you lose a lot of what is good about South Africa? So that's a real conundrum. I wonder what they're going to do. Certainly Pollard will play at some point. Will they swap him in for the first choice? I don't know. I don't think you could play those two anywhere else apart from 10. But let me know, South Africa fans, what you would do. And point 4, running attack is great. It scores great tries and you're going to need it if you're going to win the World Cup. But running attack in the wrong areas of the pitch, really shoots yourself in the foot. So attacking in the right area of the pitch is vital. I think we've seen it with Australia versus Wales, New Zealand when they play France, and Fiji when they played Wales as well. All great attacks at times, but in the wrong areas of the pitch, you can just blow yourself up and get into trouble. Point number 5, Ireland and South Africa, the boys in green, are absolutely class. What a great game. Would have been good enough for a World Cup final for sure. In some ways, it's a bit of a shame because this game might not even matter. Mathematically, they may both go through anyway. Morally, it might help boost the confidence of the Irish, or you could say it boosts the resolve of the South Africans to come back from that, because of course they did that last time out and they won the World Cup. So in some ways, it's a wasted performance. In others, it's not. Depends how you read into it. But either way, both sides are class. Both sides are good enough to win the World Cup. Point 6, there's a rivalry we probably hadn't been paying attention to. Georgia versus Portugal. Georgia had beaten Portugal in the final of the European Championship, so there's some niggle there. And this one finished 18-all, a draw. You don't see that much. I mean, Georgia looked like they were cruising after half an hour, 30-0 up. Then amazing exploits from the winger Storsey for Portugal, and they're back in front. Then Georgia pile on the subs, they go back to their maul, they get the try, conversion to win it, missed tricky conversion, then one more play of the game and Portugal get a penalty, an easier penalty, and they miss. So both sides will be absolutely gutted not to win, but a classic game, 18-all, maybe there'll be more of those to come for sure. Point number 7, Warren Gatland knows how to win at international rugby. Defence, kicking, set piece, he got those absolutely on point against Australia. And they've started to add some attack as well. The try they scored, the Morgan line with Davis' support, was brilliant off set piece. So great stuff from Wales. They're going to be hard to beat. You're going to have to beat them rather than them give it away, which is a great place to be. And they've got youngsters in the squad who are learning from this, but it is the experienced guys that are doing the heavy lifting at the moment. Point 8, Eddie Jones's Australia got it all wrong. They were trying to play a fast attacking game, but without the set piece, without the field position, without the kicking, without any leaders on the pitch to tell them what to do and knock some heads together. Sure, it's hindsight, but Michael Hooper would have been so useful. Quade Cooper, maybe even Noah Lolosio, Nick White starting, but they didn't have any of that. plus some injuries to the likes of Skelton, Tupu, and it was just a mess. Enthusiastic guys running around like headless chickens trying to do something, not really knowing what they were doing, and it was an absolute disaster. Point 9, as we know, watching Scotland is absolutely box office at times. Against Tonga, some of the best tries you're going to see. Van der Merwe, Tuipulotu, Darcy Graham, so good one-on-one, and Finn Russell buzzing that ball around, there's no better sight. But against the better teams, we saw against South Africa and maybe against Ireland, it's not good enough. They're going to have to play a little bit smarter, but in the meantime, they are great to watch. And point 10, those quarter-finalists are becoming a bit more apparent. I'll do a video on this in detail later. But Pool A is looking like France, New Zealand, probably. Pool B, Ireland, South Africa, unless Scotland come up with something. Pool C, Wales, Fiji, and Pool D, England, Argentina maybe, but again, Samoa, Japan, they're still in there. But it's looking like they are the quarterfinalists from each pool. But let me know what you think you learnt from round 3 of the Rugby World Cup. I'd love to know. All the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.